state should force religious groups as well to accept homosexuality. No, this is something you cannot do. You cannot do this because this trumps religious freedom. For example, you cannot force the Catholic Church to accept homosexuality, or you cannot force the Catholic Church to some sort of do away with this celibat and so on. This is nothing which, or this is where you have to draw the line. This is because again, this is about ensuring your freedom, ensuring your free pursuit of belief, your religious freedom. I think this is indeed a very important point that we have to understand here, so that this is an issue about freedom. However, what I want to talk about now is a little bit of the LGBTQ community. But I mean, I think it would not make sense to talk about the psychological structure or the philosophical structure of it all, especially with, but we will a little bit talk about it. But this is some sort of a brief overview, and of course this is personal. Please note that I'm a straight man. I'm heterosexual, but I have had a transsexual older brother. He decided that he was born in the wrong body, and then he even went through procedure. He became a transsexual, but nevertheless, I mean, I have experienced some thoughts, and in the university I attended some seminars. I mean, I was always interested in this topic, despite the fact that I'm straight and heterosexual. I mean, I think the LGBTQ community, especially desire is very important for other considerations. I mean, this is what I want to talk about, and this is especially desire, not meaning homosexual or hetero, not meaning homosexual desire, but desire in general. I mean, from a straight man's perspective, this would mean, why do I desire certain kinds of women? Why do I feel attracted to this woman, or what is up with it, and so on. I mean, this is a very important issue, and I think the LGBTQ community is some sort of opened up, so that you should not take it just for granted. I mean, this is indeed a very important issue, but nevertheless, I mean, this is all we have to talk about. Some issues in the LGBTQ community which I have witnessed, which I have witnessed in the university, but as well as thoughts which, but please note that they are partially personal. This is my personal thoughts, how I saw things. Nevertheless, I try to be fair and understanding, because this is what this is all about. We are not judging anyone. We try to understand, even though from a different perspective. I mean, you don't have to be a feminist to understand feminism, or let's put it that way, you don't have to be a woman to understand feminism. You don't have to be homosexual to understand the LGBTQ community. I mean, you always should strive to understand people's thinking, because this can really open up your mind, not only about a certain community, but as well as in general. I mean, we have to start with what is homosexuality, and this is pretty much straightforward, and this is that homosexuality is attracted by the same sex. So this means, and desire plays a crucial role in the identity. This means, because there are a lot of categories nowadays which starting from asexual and so on. I mean, I don't know what is supposed to be asexual and whatsoever. However, you have to be attracted to the same sex. You have to have this desire in order to be considered homosexual. And this desire is indeed physical. This is something we have to understand as well, because homosexual desire, it is the body. It is nothing beyond that. It is because it lies in the definition. It is the body, the same sex, and so on. I mean, I want to leave out transsexualism for that sense, but in a way, I mean, homosexuality, you stay in relationship to others through your body, through the desire of your body. This is it. This is the fact. And of course, with this come a lot of problems and of thoughts and issues. I mean, this is of course you have to be aware that then some sort of a fetish around the body or some sort of revolves, and then you have to ask yourself, yeah, is love beyond isn't love beyond the body? Don't get me wrong, this is not about some sort of chiding homosexuality. Many heterosexual men or women think the same. You have to be mature in order to go beyond the physical appearance. However, I mean, the big question then is homosexual desire different in a way? I mean, it is indeed, because it is the same sex, which is significant, or but is there something beyond that? So is once this physical is overcome, is it the same as heterosexual love? I mean, we will talk about this later, but nevertheless, what you see in homosexuality is this. It is this obsession, this fetish, and this fetish is through this coitus. This means the penetration. This is very important, so that and it is a part of the identity. And and this is, we have statistics that homosexual partners or homosexuals have a lot of sexual partners. This is the number is way above the average person. So because this and this is known, this is fact. So in homosexual communities, I mean, there were even some research and so on. But however, in homosexual communities, there is this fetish and centrality, or the coitus is central to not only in the identity, but as well as in the perception, in the relation to each other. This is again, this does not mean that heterosexual couples are different. I mean, if you are a straight man or boy like me in the puberty, I mean, of course, all I did in my puberty was thinking about women. However, so this is not different. But again, you have to be aware, and this is an issue because homosexuality pretty much fixates on one aspect, and this is the body. And how can you then define things like friendship and so on? So is the relationship, does a homosexual, if he stops desiring someone else homosexually, is he then not homosexual, and so on? I mean, of course, these are all philosophical questions and so on. But another issue is, this is what I saw in Germany and Austria, is that the homo or the LGBTQ community is rather against foreigners. I mean, I don't assume, I mean, I talked about this, I don't assume and saw that Catholics or Protestants, in a way, those who really are religious, that they would be open to homosexuality. However, many homosexuals think that migrants would be the really cause why they cannot some sort of live in freedom. I mean, if you only consider in Austria the Conservative Party, which is mostly supported by stout Catholics, that they were and are always against the same-sex marriage. So I don't quite understand why this has to be migrants. But however, I mean, this is as well as within German feminism. I mean, the German feminism has developed a little bit different because of the Third Reich, because of the influences of the Nazi emancipation, and the Nazis, they pretty much some sort of opened up sexuality long before this sexual revolution. It was rather of beauty, of race hygiene, and so on. And one thing what you have to consider in the homosexuality as well is that this, especially at migrants, this is what I experienced. I mean, one reason was of course because my older brother was a transsexual, but I narrowly escaped rape attempts by homosexuals. I mean, these people followed me and so on, but in general, I witnessed and noticed that migrants are some sort of a trophy within the LGBTQ community, like in the heterosexual community as well. And I saw that they have this same paradigm like in male culturalism, so that other cultures are considered as inferior, and that this white superior culture then would help those poor migrant boys and girls, or men and women, to come out as homosexuals and even save them. So there is some sort, again, this cultural aspect, this subordination which you can find in male culturalism, what we talked about. You can find this in the LGBTQ community as well. So they do not stand above anything of them. And another thing, of course, is that the LGBTQ community, that this is mostly about exposing oneself. This is not a bad thing. If you are proud about yourself, then you should expose yourself, or in a way, or show it. I don't want to use the word expose. However, nevertheless, most of those peoples are white and from the middle class, and again, the financial factor plays a crucial role. And this means if you are financially secure, you can or it is easier without any or the impact is mitigated because of your sexual or because of your financial security. If you come from a wealthy background, it is easier to out oneself, whereas if you come from a poor background, you have to work with a lot of uneducated and not understanding people, and this means that you rather will keep things to you. So you have to be more careful. And you could then somehow say this LGBTQ community, I mean, it is revolves rather about the rights of white people. This is what you saw. This is what I saw in the university. This is what I perceived, and this is again they became as well as a cultural factor, and especially in Germany and Austria, this is indeed against migrants. However, this was my episode for today. This was Adam Kebas from Urdu. I hope you all are doing fine on this July day, and you take care of yourself.